Hello, Girl Fight family. I am Kathy James, your host, and today I have the pleasure of introducing Sade Jenkins. She is a mom advocate, a mom wellness advocate, and the founder of Mom Chat Show. And she is with us today to tell us a little bit more about her journey and her girl fight, and I can't wait for you to hear all about it. Welcome, Sade.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so glad to be here.
I'm so excited that we finally got you here. I know that we had to do a reschedule at one point, so super excited.
Yes, me too. I feel like this is going to be a great discussion.
Yes, agreed. It definitely will be. Today we're going to talk a little bit about depression and overwhelm and the feeling of emptiness that some of us can experience without ever being able to really fully understand why. And many of us typically chuck that up to, our hormones or something that's going, we always want to pinpoint it on something that's going on within our lives or, premenopause or whatever, right? But sometimes it goes deeper than that. And you experienced a little bit of that, didn't you, Sade?
I did. I did a lot, especially in the beginning half.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Yeah, so starting out as a mom, it was very hard for me. I struggled with, kind of dealing with the idea process because I think sometimes we have this idea of what motherhood's going to look like,
Mhm.
how am I going to be as a wife or as a partner, and those things kind of take over. And you stop kind of being present and allowing
Mhm.
yourself to just kind of go through the process and be you and figure it out because you're just so dead set on being whatever idea you have in your head. And that was literally me in the beginning half. I struggled with that because I just felt like, I'm supposed to be this type of wife, I'm supposed to show up as this type of mom, and I'm supposed to do all of these things for everyone. And as long as I do these things, everything's good, everyone's happy. And it bit me in the hind down the road because, I thought I was happy because I felt like, I'm giving to everyone else. So I'm happy because I've always
Right.
been the giving type. I want to nurture and pour into everybody and make everyone happy, so I didn't realize that in the midst of doing that, you can lose yourself. You can lose like who you are and what really lights you up. And I didn't realize I had lost that honestly within probably like 6 years or so of after doing it
Mhm.
consistently. I didn't realize that I did not know who I was. I wasn't happy as much as I thought I was. And a lot of the things that really made me me, I had forgot all of that. I didn't even know where to start, what things to do, So it really broke me realizing that all that time, I didn't know who I was anymore. So it was hard. It was a hard pill to swallow. Yeah.
And and in that experience, you've learned that there's a lot of other women that feel the exact same way, a lot of other moms that feel the exact same way. They go through those same experiences. I know I did. We could become so consumed, and as we should, with caring for our little ones that we do put ourselves second and we lose that sense of or that fire.
We do lose that fire. And that's literally what happened. I feel like, I had went on this process of being so excited about being a mom. And then I was like, okay, well, I kept thinking in my head, like, what is it that I've always wanted? And I always thought it was going to be my degree. That was going to be the thing for me. That was going to be the thing that was going to keep me happy because,
Mhm.
they always tell you, have your job, your degree, your house, and the wife, well, the happy wife thing, and husband and kids, all of those things. So I'm like,
The
okay, well,
white
check,
picket
check,
fence.
check. Yeah, check all the things off the list. I have all the things. And then I got that degree, and it was like, okay, this is it. This is not, and things didn't work out with the degree on top of that. So it really hit when it was like, okay, I have the degree. I have my husband, I have the kids, I have the nice household, all these things, but why am I not satisfied? Why am I not happy?
Mm-hmm.
What is going on? I should be happy because technically to society, you should be happy. You have all the things, but that was not it. And I had a whole breakdown. Like, I literally was just crying and screaming. Like, I woke up one morning and I was just crying. I just kept crying because I was just so upset and I just was angry because I didn't understand why I was in this place, why I'm even going through this, and it made me feel like, you go through that, like, why am I having to experience this when I'm always good to everyone? Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
always doing the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why? And I literally had a moment where it was like, okay, you literally have nothing to lose at this point. You don't know who you are. You don't know what makes you happy. So it's time to just do everything because at this point, you can't tell yourself no anymore. You don't have anything to lose. You haven't been doing anything, literally, So I allowed myself to do anything that popped in my head. And granted, some people were probably like, oh my gosh, she went crazy. But in my head, it was like, you know what? I love me enough to fight hard for me. So I don't know what it is that I need. So it's part of my job to figure this out. And if that means going on a crazy roller coaster, then that's what it means. And I did everything. I did rock climbing. I did, I went to like Kundalini classes, you know, I did meditation. I actually learned how to shoot a gun for the first time. I went to a shooting range with a group of people I've
So
never met before.
empowering.
It was so powerful. And it was so, I think what was even more empowering about it is that it was all women. So we were
Mm,
all doing it together. And I was like, this experience is mind blowing. And it was just like every time I did something, I kept meeting new people along the way. And then they would have a certain interaction with me that would be like, huh, this is interesting. And I would learn something else. And it just kept happening over and over. So I felt like everything was happening on purpose, even though I didn't understand it. And I was in this unknown area that was completely scary. Because I'm not going to
mhm,
lie to you and say it was not. I was relearning me. I was
right.
relearning what made me spark, what made me feel good, and why. And the interesting thing at the end of me doing this for literally a year, y'all, I did this for a whole year. Um, it taught me that I was the one that was blocking me the whole time. And I think sometimes that's really hard for us to like acknowledge that we
Yes.
might be the thing that's actually causing the problem. That was
Mhm.
it was like, "Ooh, what? Me?
No,
Not
I feel you
me."
on that. That's huge for me because with, for me, I, girl fights all about fight, right? So,
Yeah.
and I think about it, we literally have to look at ourselves like we're our opponents. We're the ones standing
Mhm.
in our way. We're the ones, punching ourselves in the gut from our own idleness. And and it takes learning that and recognizing that in order for the proper change to happen,
Mhm.
you know and it's not until we make that recognition that that trigger switches in our minds so that we can embrace the change that needs to
Mhm.
take place for us to be fulfilled. So I completely
Yes.
I resonate with that 100%.
It was a hard pill to swallow, and I was just like, wow. So this whole time, because I was trying to please everyone and I wasn't really paying attention to me, I wasn't tending to me, I wasn't even trying to get to know me. And it was just, a consistent thing to the point it became a habit. To the
Hmm.
point I didn't notice that I was doing that. I just assumed, this is how things are supposed to be. I didn't know that there was anything wrong with the fact that I wasn't prioritizing me while prioritizing everybody else, you
Right.
know? So when that clicked, it was like, wow. So if I'm the problem and I've been doing all these things, that just shows me that I can also fix this too.
Hmm.
So
Because
if
you're
you're,
the problem, you can be the solution.
Exactly, exactly. So it taught me a lot that, for one, we do have a say, and that when we decide to actually take the time to really
Mhm.
get to know ourselves and love on ourselves, you just don't know what chapter you're going to land
Yeah.
into and what things are going to take place and what things you'll learn about yourself. Because it taught me that, for one, that I'm fearless. Two, I actually love wild, adventurous things. They sparked me.
Mhm.
um, and that doing things and switching things up along the journey is actually good for you. It's good for you because it kind of reminds you that, for one, that you're alive, two, that it's okay to change and
Mhm.
grow. And I really learned a lot about me. But the thing that really kind of, I think, shocked me was when I was like, wait, okay, if I went through this for like years, no one knew because I always looked happy because I love
Right.
smiling, you know? People never noticed it. So that made me question, like, okay, if I went through this in silence for years, no one noticed it, no one even picked up on it of a hint because I hid it so well,
Right.
how many other people are doing this?
Right.
How many other moms are literally silently hurting and they're not saying anything because they're ashamed or embarrassed, or they don't even know that why they're hurting? Because that was
Right.
my thing. I didn't know that I was hurting myself or why I was even feeling the way I was feeling.
Right.
And that meeting, the communicator type, I was like, okay, let's talk about this. Let me see. Let me start getting to know other moms and
Yeah.
seeing how this, works out. And the more that we started venting, I was like, oh my gosh, this is not good. This is not good.
Yeah.
Like, some people have been hurting and dealing with some things they had never spoke on for almost a decade, if
It's
not longer.
amazing when you start to become vulnerable and reveal yourself
Mhm.
and give voice to your pains and to your struggles, how many
Yeah.
others come forward. And it's an empowering thing because if you give voice to it, not not power, right? We're not talking about
Mhm.
power. We're talking about expressing it, getting it out so that you can because a lot of times when we talk out loud, we recognize a lot of things. That's what therapy is.
Mhm.
Talking to the one person across from you, and you're having a conversation, and you're getting some of these things out, and it's therapeutic. It's literally your mind starts working through the solution,
Mhm.
and so
Exactly.
talking about it, having positive influences and camaraderie,
Mhm.
and that safe space is important.
Yes. Yes. And I was really, I was grateful that they were telling me, but it
Hmm.
was just, it kind of broke me inside because it was like, we shouldn't be
Right.
having this type of pain, and we're giving and loving on everybody, and here we are literally just hurting the whole time, and nobody sees it, nobody notices it, and we're just going through life repeating that.
Hmm.
And it made me sad because I'm like, I don't want someone to feel the way that I felt for as long as I felt.
Hmm.
And the fact that it's so many of us, that's a problem.
Yes,
That's a problem. And it's
I
it's
agree.
not, I feel like as moms, we do so much. We don't deserve that. We do not, So it made me want to change it the best that I could.
Yeah.
And that was what made me go on the mission of birthing Mom Chat Show, because I was just like, we deserve to have a place where we can talk, we can
Yes.
be honest about what's happening, share our mistakes, and share our lessons. Because I feel like it's important to share both sides so people know that there is a other side to
Mhm.
things. And even if you're going through it in that moment, I still feel like there's still lessons while you're going through it, while you're learning, you know? So I really try to like embrace that and allow
Mhm.
moms to just let their hair down and let's talk about what's really happening. How do you really feel? What's really happening with your kids? What's really happening with you?
Right.
And how are you handling it? And I feel like it's healing. When you share your story, you are literally allowing yourself to heal
Yes.
because you're healing yourself and you're healing someone else
Yes.
all at the same
Yes.
time.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's girl fight. And what we're doing here. And
Girl
I
fight.
so appreciate it. This is amazing. This is what this is for. This is so that we can get together and share our experiences and help each other heal and cheer each other on and let
Yeah.
someone else know that they're not alone.
Yes. Yes.
There's something that you told me the last time that we met that really resonated with my personal story, and I think that the mom chat show and the efforts that you have there are to help other women to avoid similar circumstances. That breaking point, you had a breaking
Mhm.
point before you had all of this realization of I'm going to go and experience things and find myself. Can you tell us about that moment in your
Um,
in that bedroom that night? Because I have a
yes.
similar story to that, right? So, and it just really stuck out to me. And I think that we're trying to get to a point where we're trying to help someone heal from those things, but also so that we can help them avoid that breaking point and get to that healing and that self awareness sooner rather than later. So, if you could tell us a little bit more about that moment for you.
So I think you might be referring to when I felt like I was laying there and I had my own nervous breakdown type of thing. And I was just sitting there with my thoughts and crying, screaming, angry. And it was so interesting because I felt like in that moment, I know everybody may not be spiritual, but in that moment for me, it was like, you have to get up. You have to get up and you have to do something. And it was so weird because it was so clear. It was
Mhm.
very clear. And it wasn't, I feel like in that moment, it wasn't me that I was hearing. And it was very interesting because I feel like the push had to happen. And I feel like sometimes when things like this happen, it's purposely for him to sit you down and show you that, this isn't working and it's time for a shift. And so when I had that shift, it was scary, obviously, but I kept hearing, you have to do this. You have to do this. You have to keep going. I cried through it, obviously, a lot. I cried, smiled, and went through it. But I think it was the biggest thing that I needed to know that, for one, I wasn't in it alone. And that, two, you have to keep going. Obviously, you have to try. You can't just give up on yourself. Because one thing that I learned from the journey was that after you have your kids, you become a whole nother person.
Yeah.
You literally are birthed into a whole nother individual. And I didn't realize that. Like after I had my kids, I did not realize I wasn't the same person anymore. The person that I was before that, she was gone. She was still there, but she was not fully there anymore because once I birthed my child out, I feel like new me popped up. And my focus was different. The way I viewed things was different. And quite frankly, what I wanted was different. And that was the biggest issue. I never got to know myself after that. Like,
Right.
what is that? What is this person that you are now? What does she need? What does she want? How can you better serve her? How can you take care of her? I didn't think of those things. So that was my biggest thing that I learned, that, there's a new person that submerges and pops up afterwards. So I had to get to know her. And once I got to know her, I was like, okay, I like you. I like you, and I was like, okay, let's start this journey together because the old me is not working. She's not working. She's tired. So it's time
Mhm.
to get to know this. Like, what is this journey? So it's a constant learning journey, but it's totally worth it though.
I think that I was just about to say, and you said it's a constant learning journey because we still have those moments, right? We
Mm-hmm.
still have those moments where we, you know, self doubt or overwhelm will creep in, right? But we
Yeah.
have to become more self aware of what our body is telling us and what's going on within our surroundings and become more in tuned with
Mm-hmm.
who we are. And when something's out of balance, if we're paying more attention and we notice it faster and we're able to take care of it. And I think that's the key, is just recognizing. I think about it. It's corny, but I use boxing, right? So if you think about
Yeah.
boxers, and if I'm my own opponent, right? Not
Yeah.
always, right? But if I'm the one that's self-sabotaging by remaining idle or not taking care of myself fully, then, and if I'm if I'm then I need to go back, and part of my training is to study my own habits.
Mhm.
Great fighters study their opponents so that they can
Yeah.
learn their right hooks, so that they can dodge the right hook, and so that they can learn the jabs and know when to hit and when not to hit. So we kind of need to become students of ourselves. We have to learn ourselves and our own habits so that we can feed our own needs. And it sounds like that
Mhm.
you did an amazing job doing that, but we're always going to come to those places again, maybe not in the same way, but
Mhm.
that's a good thing, because that allows us to take that extra level, and it helps us to grow. And if we start to realize that, we'll be able to accept those hard times a little bit easier.
Yes.
So,
Yes, I always tell moms, like, even when we have the show and they come on, that, for one, I always say there's nothing perfect about motherhood. There's
no.
no book to it, there is no perfect way to do it. It is a learning, growing process,
Yes.
literally. You
Yes.
learn as you go. There's no perfect mom out there. So
No.
I try to constantly push and let them know that you don't need to be hard on yourself. I don't know everything. You don't know everything. But when we talk about things, we're
Mhm.
learning through each other. We're learning and helping each other with this journey, because it's not easy and it is something that is consistent. So, it's all about talking. We have to
Yeah.
talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Having that corner woman, if you will. I know I keep using my
Yeah.
corny boxing metaphors, but it's true. We
Yeah.
on the I've been bullied, and I've been the bully,
Yeah.
and it's so much sweeter to be the cheerleader, to be the one to say you've got this,
Mhm.
and it makes my life fulfilled by doing that, you know? And so no, I completely get it 100%. I love the mom chat show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yes,
much. I always say it's
yes,
my baby. It literally is.
yes.
Yeah.
So how do you deal with what are some things, one or two things that you do to help manage those moments of overwhelm, to kind of recenter in the moment?
Yeah.
Maybe some other things later down the road, but if you're in the moment and you've got stuff going on, what are some techniques that you might use or suggest to moms?
So, my favorite thing, and I tell this to all my moms, so if they know me, they know this thing. Um,
Okay.
my favorite thing that I always tell moms is dance breaks. Dance breaks are essential. And I tell them to combine it with my favorite go-to that some people know about, some people don't. It's called a music mood list. And when you combine those two together, it's a game changer. So, what a music mood list is, because for the people that may not know, it is literally creating a mood list according to your emotions. And you have, one maybe for the days you might feel not that pumped and you need something to help you. Then you find music that resonates with you and that
I love
gives
it.
you that energy. And you do it according to each emotion. So when those emotions pop up, you have a go-to thing to go to that you know is going to help you kind of like go through that process and
Yeah.
potentially help you get out of that emotion if you want to
Yeah.
get out of it too. So when you combine those two together, it's
Oh my
like
gosh.
amazing.
So
It's
music and
amazing.
dance.
Yeah,
I,
that's
I
my
love it.
favorite.
Because this is my first time hearing it too. So this is not something that we planned. This is my first time hearing about the dance and the music. But
Yeah.
it's funny though, because I it's like on getting my girlfriend on the Facebook group the other day, I was like, I double triple dog dare you to do a happy dance the next time you have a victory. And because it does, you gotta
Mhm.
celebrate those wins. But I love the fact that you're incorporating that
Yeah.
in the healing process, and that, or that it's not necessarily always just healing. It's just coming out of that, working through those
Yeah.
emotions, because those emotions are natural. It's okay to feel angry. It's okay to
Yeah.
feel sad. It's just, how long do you want to sit there?
Yeah.
How long do you want to be in that state? Because you deserve to be
Um,
happy. So,
Exactly.
yes,
Exactly.
yes. So I
Yeah.
love that. And I'm totally going to do it. And I'm going to send you my list.
Yes, I keep telling this because I've been like telling everyone you must try it at least once, and you'll be surprised how you will feel. You will
Yes,
feel amazing afterwards. You
yes.
really
I love
will.
that. I love that. It's original. I've never heard that before. That's awesome. I love it. Um,
Yeah.
so, are there any other final words that you would like to give to the audience before we say goodbye?
I think the biggest thing that I would like to leave moms with is just to understand that your journey is your journey.
Yeah.
So don't be hard on yourself. Allow yourself to really understand you, understand what you need, and allow yourself to go through that process. Don't put pressure on yourself. Don't compare yourself to another mom because their journey is not yours. So be okay with your path and relearning yourself. It's a journey. Your story is your story. Like I always tell people, you don't want to duplicate something that's not of you. So if your story is you may love doing outdoor things and dancing like me and reading and being bubbly, then that's your story.
Mhm.
But there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that you should take away, pull away. This is you. So
Yeah.
be proud of who you are, your journey, and your story. Embrace that. It's okay. So that was something I had to learn. And I feel like when we allow ourselves to learn that our journey is our journey and I can, add to, take away, and do whatever it's going to make me be a better mom, a better person, because that is what I need. It changes everything because now you're not looking to others to form who you're supposed to be. You're taking that power and control back and allowing yourself to grow. So be proud of who you are. It's okay.
Awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, I'm super happy that you've been here, that we were able to get together finally, and I'm looking forward to hearing more about everything that you've got going on. Will you do me a favor and let the audience know how they can reach you?
Yeah, it's no problem. And thank you for bringing me on. I love this.
Absolutely. This is not the end, girlfriend.
Thank you. They can find me on momchatshow.com. And Mom Chat Show is literally everywhere. So we're on YouTube as well. And you can also find me at sadejenkins.com. There you
Very
go.
good. Momchatshow.com. Sade Jenkins, thank you so much for coming. And we may end up having her back, folks. We may end up having her back. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks.